Today is day one of a 2-week rewire, so I'm going to film everything as much as I can, hopefully day by day for you guys, but this is an occupied rewire, so what we're going to be doing is chasing everything, running in all new cables, bonding, all that sort of stuff with the power still on because there's a family still living here at the moment, and then one day we're going to do the exchange. So this is all the stuff I've had to get out. But luckily for me, there is a lovely double garage. Van, double garage setup. So I'm going to run through this because I think this is important for some people of what is entails of how much stuff you need for a rewire, the stock, the materials, the tools. So we've got our ladders out there and there. We've got the Metabo out, it's been emptied, that's been cleaned, the filters, everything knocked off. We've got some PPE lying around here, there and everywhere. So table, won't do a job without it now, absolutely fantastic. We've got the big uni light on the tripod that we used the other day with Mitch. I've had to buy myself a new 6-foot level Stabilo one from Screw Fixing, it's about £58. I've had a yellow Stanley 6-foot one for literally since I've been 18. So, and I've left it on the job, I can only presume so. If you're one of my customers and you see this video and you see a really big metal yellow stick that's about 6 foot, it's mine, can I have it back please? Bosch laser, materials here. So last night, all this sort of stuff, this is all from Expert Electrical, which I will get to in a minute. But one thing that winds me up all the time is the packaging of how much time it actually does waste when you're on site. So I had a half an hour spare last night. I sorted out all the double boxes, the single boxes, all unwrapped, ready to go. We've got our smokes, we've got our sockets, which are being changed slightly, but I'll run to that. Pack out stuff, which we've got here for the essentials. We've got a cable runner, we've got our cables that we're going to need for this job, other than I need to pick up a drum of cat cable. Power tools, all laid out. Batteries, all charged, that I did over the weekend. 3 various battery chargers. We've got the Bosch one for the laser, the Spit one for the gun, the little 12 volt Milwaukee one, and then we've got the big Milwaukee one over there. I'm waiting for a delivery of my 25mm oval conduit, Hoover, tool bags, accessories, drill bits, tester, labeler, loads of dust sheets for the stuff, Gorilla tubs, all the stuff for bonding later on in the week, drill bits from Armeg, which I'll run to, loads more dust sheets, work mats, all that sort of bits here. And one thing I did do last week, because I was sick of the Chaser box. So this is the Velocity, I've had this on the shelf for ages, the CTB 11, and it comes with 2 hard cups that I've got 4 sections in. I changed the new blade over and I gave this a clean, so we've got a brand new blade for the rewire, but I thought, well, I have to take this into every room. So we've got the dead foot, which is our kinetic switch, we've got the all-round band, we've got the chisel, big screwdriver, some glasses, tape measure and the level. So as and when I'm done in one room, I can put it back in here, pick this up, move it across. If you've seen the video of me losing my mind fault finding, that is the fuse board up there that's been changed. I keep in the same position, but we're dropping it lower down. But obviously that's going to be not this week, it'll be next week, just time depending, because I've done one rewire by myself now and it took a while. This is the second one, so we're going to be doing that. But running through to Expert Electrical, where I've purchased all of this stuff from, people have started to find out and had emails, my code no longer works. There's been no falling out, there's been nothing of that. What it is, they've got rid of the code and dropped everything on the website by 10% anyway, for everyone there. So if you do use the code, you should get free next day delivery. But other than that, if you don't use it, you still get the 10% off. So it's still there, all the link every time below in the description of the videos. Expert Electrical is there, go and check it out. Like I say, there's 10% off everything now, so it's going to be cheaper than it was before if you forgot to use the code. Okay, we're finally set up to a point where we've got stuff covered, we've got the bed covered, all of our stuff is on dust sheets and mats, except for that. That's all covered up. What it would be, because obviously this is being lived in, every room after I've finished, all I'm doing is the chasing and the chasing down, going to put the boxes in, cutting the oval, all round, everything I can do, everywhere. Then at that stage, we're going to pull up the floorboards the next day or the day after. I'm not quite sure yet to start doing it. But there's two ways to do this that I'm going to just show you the difference in time. First way, SDS, chisel, to get a nice clean out. If this is nice soft brick and it works really well, we can do it that way with minimal damage to having to bond in and around the chases afterwards. We'll time that, we'll see how long that takes. The one over there, we'll use the chaser, show you the extra damage made, and realistically for me to bond either side of the box. Once I've already got the mix set up to do a little bit of the chase so people can get fingers in, is essentially, I would say, less than 30 seconds just to put a bond in either side because it's already done. Yes, it's a little bit more bonding to be used, but it's a couple of quid, let's say, overall. So let's set this up. We'll get this one done first and then we'll time that one. Right, I've just stopped it a second because I'm just going to try and figure out if this is a aerial cable or it is a live cable. But as you can see, zone-wise, non-existent. So normally this is aerial. For the furthest part in the house on the left, I can only presume it's an aerial because there is aerial points downstairs, but I'll see. Yeah, aerial cables. You can see that there. I won't start the timer yet. I'm just going to multi-tool, cut this flush, and then we can carry on. Right, just shy of 4 minutes. So equally, even though I'm doing it this way, you're still going to have to put a little bit of patching up. And sometimes it's easy to patch up a bigger chunk than trying to feather in a tiny little bit. Obviously I can get this fixed in a bit, make sure it's level. Oh, I need to take a bit more out of the top right, never mind. But 4 minutes. I'm going to get this chased and do everything I need to do here, and I'm going to jump across that way. So you've got a difference of a minute, but then this one you can add at least 30 to 40 seconds on to fill this in. But this bit here is a lot easier to fill than the small slithers over there. So there's more mess generated from this because of the middle chase that you do. It ends up chucking some stuff all down here, all these tiny little bits. But with that, most of that was kept on the mat below that I could keep the hoover that was sat here like you saw. So either way, I've got to use the chaser anyway to do all these bits. So I'm going to continue doing it, but I just wanted to show you guys the difference between this and this. But this is block wall. If it was brick inside, it would be a completely different story. This would win in my eyes compared to the SDS. Just drilling down with the SDS bits down, thinking, oh, sound. I'll just tickle it, go down a little bit, get all the dust and messy stuff out of the way. So as and when I take the floorboards up, it might just be another little bit of a hole. And as when I've just drilled down, the hoover's turned off, the lights have turned off, other than my one up there, and now I'm going to have to pull the floor up anyway and fix the cable that I've just damaged and gone through, so the power can go back on and waste more time. Alrighty then. So it's just turned 2 o'clock and I've only completed one room. I know. One, it's occupied, so you've got to be clean, you've got to be tidy. 2, it's the first day, so I spent an hour and a half bringing all the stuff out of the van, setting it up, putting stuff down, figuring out where I want to go. And 3, I didn't get here till 9 o'clock anyway because of the Monday traffic, which I did not anticipate going over here. So we've got our double socket there, our double socket there, all hoovered, all tidy. Obviously, we still got the bed out. We've got a double socket down there, a double socket here, and the light switch all drilled up and drilled down and hoovered. I can take the sheet off the bed. So I'm going to run around now and try and do as many bedrooms as I can. I'm just going to grab a bite to eat and then we're going to start on these ones. So as I'm moving things across, everything's been hoovered and tipped in the bag, repositioned. I'm not putting one dust sheet off onto another bed. I've got individual dust sheets that be taken outside, shook off before they go on any beds because I'll just be transferring dust across. There is only 2 double sockets in all the rest of the bedrooms. There's one there, and the light switch. I was going to go around and pre-drill all the light holes to bring them all to center instead of near that, but I'm probably going to do that as and when I start running the cables. I said to the customer, I'll do that. I'll put some masking tape or some tape to plug the holes up so you get no stuff falling down. But in case the tape fails in the night, I don't want the kids getting stuff on them or on the beds, and equally the parents as well, while they don't have to. So I'm going to get a bite to eat. Right, it is day 2 of the rewire. I've literally just got here. It is 18 minutes past 8. So that is currently on because the ceiling was taken down a couple of weeks ago. So there's no light in here, and because the weather is like this all the time, I've ordered some, what is going in here is 2 JCC 6-foot twin LED strip lights. So they've arrived last night. So what I'm going to do now, because the kids are still getting ready going to school, I'm going to just tuck one of these lights up here. So let's unbox it, let's have a look how it works, put it up, see how bright it is, because it is if I turn this, so this is the tripod light by Unilight, and I'm not going to lie, I'm very honest with everyone. When I got sent it, I looked at it and thought, domestic spark, I can't find so much of a use for it, I don't think. But then when I used it with Mitch in a commercial setting, when we turned the power off and changed the board over, I thought this is brilliant. It genuinely is, the way it rotates, you change the direction of it, everything like that. It worked great. And I thought, I'm doing the rewire here. It is dark, it's dingy. It just looks like I'm doing this to tense my arm all the time, I'm sorry. Anyway, but I brought it, and so far so good. It is great, because the plan is, as and when I'm doing the board, because the garage door will be shut and the power will be off here, my 360 MTB 10,000 lights, the dome ones, are perfect for lofts because we can hang them up. But when I'm doing stuff like this and changing this board over in a bit, there's no real space to put this. But there is with this. So let me get these lights out and have a look. 2 things. A lot of people ask me constantly, where's this top? Well, 3 things. Where's this top from? This is a Snickers top. It's just a high-vis one. I bought it ages ago. It's the same thing with the Snickers jacket that looks like this, which has got that. That's also Snickers. And the other thing is the long extendable bit that I have in my combi drill is from Armeg. It's upstairs, otherwise I'd show it you. I get these comments all the time. Armeg, long, I think it's the 270mm one, Snickers, and the other jacket Snickers. Okay. So at this place, I've also ordered, so there's 2 50-watt floodlights going on each corner of the house, or is it, no, one at the front, one at the back. That's my AirPods. I've ordered them from JCC as well. But one thing that I have done, which is completely different, like saying trying new things, is they're going to be, instead of on sensors because they're so high up, they're going to be on timers. And I'm fitting a Navitas board that's coming tomorrow, I think, a double stacked Navitas board, and that also comes with a timer. So this is going to be brought down to 2 floodlights, and I will do a timer off the lights so the customer can control that as and when they want, with potential that will be another timer fitted for soffit lights at some point up there. And also they do a Ring doorbell transformer of their own version as well, because we're doing a wide Ring doorbell. So as much as stuff I can, I'm going to try and keep within the board as possible. I think all the floodlights are in here as well. You've got the 2 20-watt floods that are going on that side of the house and that side of the house, and we've got 2 50 watts, and they are small. I didn't realise how small they were. That's great. That was dark. Anyway. Oh, bag of bits just fell out. Base, light, that is all enclosed now. So as and when, back in the day, you would have the tray that would sit in this, and then the lid that will clip over the top. And this is all built in now. All the different slots in there, so if you can fit emergency stuff, it's like a plug and play system, so you can just modulise it. Oh, wow. Write that down. So my little combi is upstairs. Because, I mean, this was destined and made purposely for the EV chargers. Cool, let's do this with one hand. But I sort of went over the top with putting stuff in it, and it sort of does everything now, and gets brought on every job that's possible, really. Obviously this is going up temporarily. Light. Right, let's go and carry on with the rewire now. I can actually see what I'm doing down here. So picking up from last video, which sort of probably ended quite abruptly because I forgot to film the ending. But main bedroom is done, so it doesn't look like I've got a lot done, but just remember this is occupied. Power is staying on, hoovering, tidying, covering stuff up, literally as I'm going through, completing each room. So the first socket I did, there was capping directly in the middle with 2 aerial cables. The second socket I did, as I drilled down, I managed to drill through the cables for that socket directly. So it was 2 of 2 straight away. Then when I went to go and do the socket down here, I pushed the bed back. I managed to snap the customer's leg completely off the bed, which is there, and it's now held up by a bit of wood. So that was really good. Obviously told them straight away. The husband then forgot to tell the wife, so she sat on the bed last night. The bed collapsed. Anyway, apologised, come up front about it, tell the truth. It's pointless. I mean, I had to look at it and see if I could fix it, but it just needs all re-screwing back into the bottom. So fingers crossed, not too much of a pain in the bottom, but these things happen. I tried to push a really big, heavy bed, and I presume that it caught itself on a floorboard maybe, and he wanted to push it back a foot, and it fell over. So anyway, so this room was done. Another double socket there, light switch. We've got a double socket there. We've got a double socket there, and we've got the new light switch there. On the landing, we've got our full chase. There's a 3-way lighting system coming in from downstairs to here, going across to the one over there. We've got a double socket there. We've got a new light switch here because the doorway's changing for the bathroom. And then the last night I went round and just started marking out. It started getting a bit late. I got home about 7:15. So I'm gonna get this stuff chased. What I'm gonna show you guys in a bit is I was gonna bring the cables to go up into the loft. So we've got loft power, upstairs lighting, smoke alarm interlinked, outside floodlights, a new feed for more soffit lights in the future, and we've got data. So I was, a good chunk of cables. I don't really want to bury them and try and hide it within the zones of a switch. I was going to put them in here, but this is being pushed through to the doorway and this being blocked up, hence why the switch is moving. So this will never change because the soil stack is always going to have to be here. So I spoke to the customer, yes, can run them up here. I'm going to try and find access because the best thing for me is just through there, down, is the fuse boards, the garage. So if I can bring it through and up, and then also once I've run all the cables, leave a fish in there as well. I get some rope or some blue twine or something and label it up fish. For myself in the future for other sparks. But there's been 19,000 layers of paint on this. So in a little bit, I'm gonna heat gun, blow this off, take the screws out and see what space we've got in there, whether or not we put some trunking, some all-round bands, some cable clips, whatever, away from the soil stack. But equally, it's never gonna get drilled or messed with. I'm still trying to get over what I said. We are done and dusted, tidied up everywhere. So that's all the chasing done upstairs. It's just gone 11 o'clock on day 2. But downstairs is going to be easy because we're not doing the kitchen, we're not doing the dining room. There's only a couple of sockets. So for a rewire, normally we would cover all corners for bedrooms. And I did say this to the customers and they were like, no, 2 is enough. So I've only had a handful of things to do in and around each room. Like I say, the longest thing is tidying everything and keeping it clean and keeping it sheeted. This is the first time the loft hatch has been open. The customer hasn't been up here. Like I said, they've only been in 2 weeks. And the previous owner obviously kept every single roll or offcut of carpet for the past 600 years. And wallpaper. That's the extension lead, which is the light. And then down there, I've gone for a big walk. You've got mustard coloured carpet there, and it goes all the way down there. It is going to make my life more difficult because we've got the eaves are in, we've got massive wooden beams here and here, which means I can't access lights this side or the side behind you, but we can just rod it up, clip it. There's an absolute gorgeous, like you say, massive piece of wood that we can clip stuff down where someone's just laid stuff over before. So the soil stack is just over there. So now it is time to do it, but rewiring it upstairs shouldn't be too much of an issue because of the cable stapler, because of the wood, and because it isn't hot. It's the 1st of October today, and the temperature is cold outside and raining, which means lofts are lovely to work in. So let's use the heat gun. Let's go and see if I can actually do something I said I'm going to do. That flicked straight in my eye. I actually have a go with the heat gun though. That seemed like a bit of an anti-climax for you guys. Sorry about that. Oh. Found a wasp nest. I think that's a bit of an old one. Plenty of room there. Yeah, that should work. Okay, we're in the furthest part of downstairs. It's taking me ages to set up just because there's loads of stuff and covering stuff up as usual. I know I keep saying it on the videos, but you need to protect people's stuff as much as I protected their bed yesterday. I then broke it afterwards. So we've gone around, drawn all over the walls where we want to chase. Got some stuff over here. We've had the laser up. We've done a little spin on it. But this part here is a flat roof. Even though from the previous owners saying to the new owners that this bit here is not an extension, this was part of the house as it was built brand new. And it makes sense, it all looks the same on the outside. But this is flat roof, and then the front, where the front office is also a flat roof, which means I have no access above. But as and when the last video where I accidentally went through the cable for the socket up here, I could see through with the light. I could see this steel here, and I could see that there's access through, which was the lighting cable coming across to here. The house has been tested for asbestos. I always ask my customers to do it now, and obviously not just say, can you get a test done? They go to me, yeah, it's fine. The report was always sent over to me. There's no Artex. All of this stuff you can see on the ceiling here, this is all wallpaper. So what I'm going to do, so what I've done off camera, so we took the light fitting down because I couldn't, even though my magnets are strong, I couldn't find which way the joists go. Theoretically, logically, they go this way because of the size. So I fed the rod like this through until I hit this joist, and then marked it here, and then found out the thickness of this joist, and then rodded back this way to here and here. But what I've got to do, everything that's going on this side is accessible. Everything on this side isn't. There's one double socket down on the floor down here. A double socket going in this stud work, which can easily be done from the other side if we wanted to. There's a double socket all the way down here, which if we wanted to, could come from that side. But on the outside of the building, outside here, the garden runs all the way around. There is a 20 watt PIR flood, which you saw earlier, the JCC one. So I have to get a cable over to there. There's two double sockets on this side here, which is going to be a media wall situation down below there, where they're all marked out. But there's no other sockets in this corner. So spirit level, 6 foot on the ceiling like this. I'll get the laser out to make sure I'm in line. I'm going to go and sort of pencil mark some of the joists, and I'll explain why in a second. Draw down that. We're then going to multi-tool as and what we need all the way down, holding the hoover with that, bringing it down. And the reason I want to mark the joists out so roughly where they are is so when it comes to, let's say here, I can cut that already pre-cut. So when I come down to multi-tool, I'm only going to be pulling out sections that literally are, let's say 6 foot, rather than we have a stupid 12-foot section that drops, snaps. The bits that I pull out will allow me just to screw back in, and when the plaster comes around, he can plaster over that rather than having to piece bits in or find his own bits. So that is the plan, so wish me luck. So we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, you know how to count up. These crosses here are a good guess from this previous one. I managed to get, where the hell are the magnets gone? Here, I can, and then everywhere else is just a guess. I'm being completely honest. I've just measured off centre to centre, so we shall see. But I think what I'll probably do is pre-cut the one here, here, that I know. I'm gonna do this as a section. The problem is, Customer's keeping the cove in, so when I chase up in a bit, I've got to try and keep it intact. We'll do a notch here, and we'll have to just brace this side up, and it's exactly the same for the other side. So it's a hell of a long run, so. You tell me. You tell me why. It's all going great, happy, hunky-dory, and then I hit this one, and I got covered in stuff. So any more shaking or momentum is just going to pour this out. And I hope to God it's just one trough, and it's not the rest of them, because so to go and empty the hoover twice, it's happened again. So the best and easiest way is a bucket and a scoop. That got so full that when I turned it off, obviously the compression released itself, so I took the hose off and it just spat a million more balls at me. That one happened. Coming up over here. So when people say some form of cavity wall insulation degrades cables, this is sort of what they mean. It's not degrading it, it's just the cable over time has become warm. Why is that just here? And when it becomes warm, the polystyrene sticks to it. But when it say degrades it, it doesn't degrade the cable. I mean, in some circumstances, I could be wrong, but in this circumstance, the cable looks like it's very poorly and got mumps or whatever it's called. But it's just sticking to it because it's polystyrene and it's got a little bit warm. But this has taken me so long, I've not chased one thing in this room yet. So I'm going to leave the balls for now. The customer has turned around and said that he will get his hoover out, but I even think that's a bad idea. I just think scoop it, but instead of me wasting time trying to pick all this mess up, I'm going to start chasing and hopefully we actually get somewhere. Right, so that is me done for day 2. It is 5:23 p.m. Got half an hour home. I don't know where the days goes. I don't know if I'm still trying to get used to working and doing bigger jobs by myself, but I've still got to chase 2 rooms. Well, I say 2 rooms. There's not a lot to it. I tidied up all the balls just because I kept walking through them. They kept getting stuck to my feet. I walked through the house, and then at the same time, every time I had a hoover on or the chaser, the wind blew it, they went everywhere. So that's all back up. Oh, more just, where have they appeared from? Anyway, the lounge area, this bit is done. We've got socket in there. We've got the socket down there coming up to the light switch, all going up, all drilled up, all round banded, done and dusted. We've got the light switch here, which any of them that have been close to original light switches, I've been using the SDS just because I can't get the chaser in. So luckily I did, because this beautiful light is here, and with the SDS I must have just nick the live cable, so I can't put the box in until we cut it off. So I'm just going to stick some tape around that before I go. That's all up, that one. I've literally got one more to chase, which is over there. Got a hallway to do tomorrow, and the office, and technically another room, the back bedroom. And then a back dressing room that comes off the garage. 2 days, and I even bloody chased the whole house out. But it is a massive plot, and I keep doing stuff. Like this thing took a lot longer than it should. One, because I'm trying to keep the dust down. Again, because people are living here. And obviously all them balls falling out of the roof and everything needs to be hunky-dory. But annoyingly, I have hoovered and tidied, and I still need to go and cut holes in all the beams. So we shall see. Oh, what a miserable prick I was about like 2 seconds ago for you guys. I'm still here. I've just picked up, tidied up, hoovered up, just shut the garage door. I mean, it's been hammering it down all day. It's been raining 3 days straight. And obviously loads of water had collected on top of the garage door. It's a big double garage door. Even though I'd pushed it that way, I then got what essentially was a bucket load of water, then just travelled down the back of my neck and all down my top. I was like, it's fine, whatever, I'll put my hoodie on. Forgot that I wore my hoodie this morning in the rain, and then it's been sat in the garage and it's now damp as hell. Absolutely fine, having a great time. Yeah, just sort of underestimating how long things are taking. Equally, I'm trying to do things as perfectly as I can, as you guys can probably see and tell. I just realised there's a dust on the lens. And it's still there. So, yeah, I will keep recording every day. Hopefully they're all right and there's something decent and everyone could learn something for one video. But we should get the rest of the chasing done tomorrow, and we're going to start picking floorboards up, figuring out runs, and I'm going to speak to a mate of mine about the access points, because originally I was just going to get what is a TP-Link access point, doing PoE from the garage, but they're having 3. So I want to try and figure out if there's a switch that does PoE output to just run the data as 2, rather than running 3 individual PoE injectors in the garage and using 3 plugs, or if I can use a switch, or if he has a recommendation of to do like 3 same make mesh system. I don't know. I don't really do internet, so I'll figure out from him. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Love you, bye. I don't know why I did whatever. It is day 4 of the rewire. I missed filming day 3 down to all I've done is chasing. The whole thing, it's the first time ever in my entire life that I've chased a property and done a rewire, and it's took me 3 days to do it. Obviously, 1, because it's by myself, 2, because it's a massive property, and 3, I'm being very anal of how neat I try and do everything, other than this one. We've had to get it as close as we can because there's fitted wardrobes going in down here. Obviously, there's an existing socket, so we managed to start just chamfering up that way. And then also what ate a hideous amount of time, 4 massive rooms in this property are all flat roof. So you've got the main building, far side above the lounge, flat roof, which you saw all the balls fall out the ceiling. And then all this side is flat roof here. And equally the front porch area where the front office is, that's flat roof. So I had to go around, channel out like I did previously. But this is one thing that drives me insane, okay? So as much as I try and do things better and better and better each job and learn from my mistakes, not even for me, but for you guys to learn. So actually, 2 seconds. So as you would have seen, I got the level, I put it on the ceiling, I drew the side, and it was multi-tooled out. So I've had to cut 2 individual lines, okay? Then we're gonna get the combi drill, and there's a reason why there's a long extended bit in, is because for some stupid reason, I didn't double up the level and make it a nice thick channel that's a foot wide. I mean, maybe even, Jesus, maybe even about 10 inches wide to allow the drill to go up so I could drill flat. But no. But if I'd have done a foot, it still would have been 2 cuts. The drill would have gone up, absolutely lovely. But now the drill doesn't fit up. I'm having to drill everything slightly on the angle. So I did that in here. I've hoovered up, I've tidied up, I've cleaned up. But I still need to do this in the office, in the lounge where all them balls are. And I'm either gonna put a bin bag below that one trough that I've taped up with the balls just to get the remainder out, or I'll speak to the customer, I will drill a 25mm hole either side, poke a bit of plastic conduit through it so I can poke my cables through, staying away from the balls, but at the same time, they're gonna have to stick the plasterboard back up at some point, so they are gonna start pouring out, but oh God, I said I would put the plasterboard back up. Oh. We had our delivery turn up, so I ordered, beginning of the week, a Navitas double stack board. And the reason I went for Navitas, obviously we would do fuse box normally. We met Will at the trade show, showed me through the stuff, obviously. Double stack board, absolutely magical, fabulous. We've all seen these before. The surge isn't orange, which I quite like. But what I did see is they do their own ring doorbell transformer, DIN rail mounted, and also a timer. So the timer was for me, potentially going to get 2, because I'm going to run a feed that goes up to the soffits at the front. But the 2 up and down lights that go by the front door, they're not going to be censored. They're literally just going to be on a timer. I said to the customer, if we bring the cables back, we stick it on a timer. Potentially, because it's fed from there, we can always do it app operated as well. We can put a Zigbee device, smart device, whatever within the board as well to operate that if it's needed. And obviously the ring doorbell is just going to go near the front as well. So the list and jobs for today, I do write them down on my phone. I try to with rewires. I do myself a list for the rewires per day. 1, so I don't get distracted going through different jobs, which is me, is down to a T. 2, I like ticking things off a list. Very satisfying. 3 is with the whole job going on, as crazy it is with different rooms and multiple chases and doors and everything going in, and doors, whatever, is I don't want to forget anything where I then have to make a mess in the future when I've already tidied it and sheeted up and all that sort of stuff. And 4, having a list makes me look organised to you guys. That is our flat roof at the front door. That travels all the way across. I can't open this window, it doesn't open, to the fuse board. The bathroom is here, where you saw the soil stack. I'm going to try and see if I need to take the floor up, come it across here and angle it down. Whether or not where this airing cupboard, this doorway is going to go, there's the tank at the moment. We can go straight under the tank and it's a nice clear run, because we want to be getting carpets and floors up everywhere today that I know where I need to run cables. Get the screws out, get the nails out, but make sure it can all go back, because obviously there's a family living here with kids, so we need to make it as safe and as clean as possible. Over in the lounge, where the flat roof is the far side of this. So we know there's a steel. I know there's a chimney breast here because we drew through that cable on the socket. There is the flat roof outside. Today, if I get a chance to run cables today, fantastic. If I don't, it's not the end of the world, because it's not on my list. It's just an extra. It was get up as much as we can, figure out cable runs. And then on top as well, because the kitchen and dining room, which are down there and down there, we're going to be doing a swap over, so all the old stuff stays on, but the kitchen and dining room is being converted and knocked through into a new kitchen. So we're not also leaving the existing wiring in and on and safe in the kitchen and dining room, but we're also running new cables. So that is the plan for today. Stop talking, Nick. Everyone now knows the whole job and your life story. So all the downstairs is being done up this side of Christmas, but upstairs is being done next year. So it's stuff like the bathroom. Yes, I can take the floor back up. Yes, I can take the floor up, but equally it needs to get back down and usable for the family for at least another 3-4 months. Also, that stinks a lot. What I've just done, obviously you've seen this, I've brought my bits up, I've run through, I just adapted something in, I'm just genius. I brought this the other day, the Milwaukee circular saw. I tried to buy it off FFX and realised the same weekend I was trying to put my car details in is the same one where they went into administration. So I'm coming from here, I'm going down this wall, so I've pushed everything to the right. We've got a socket there, so that's fine. I'm not touching this one just yet because of things either side. I don't need to run any cables down to this room because this is the kitchen and dining room. The only thing I need to do is go to there for that socket. And there's a socket the other side of this wall here, which is down there, which is pretty handy. This is all going to be pulled up. The same thing in here. Everything's been shifted to the right. There's one socket there and one socket there. Dining room again. Then this is just above the small part of the lounge. Everything's been pushed across. Got the 2 sockets there. We have got the 2 sockets here, which could potentially be pulled from this side, but I'm not too sure yet. And then we're going to be drilling down into the flat roof to push all the other stuff over there. And then this thing was here as well. Obviously, oh, I've just given it away now. You would think that was a socket that just didn't work. And then within the earth pin, you've got a wall safe. I have seen these online before, but I've never personally seen one. But yeah, how cool is that? You would never know. But equally, it does encourage children to stick metal objects into plug sockets, thinking they're going to get some sort of treasure or reward. So I've just realised it. But it does work. Yeah. Very cool. This is the circular saw ball. Very nice, very brand new. Never, ever cut anything. The reason I got this, I have got the Bosch one, but like I've said, with the batteries and everything, I did eye the Milwaukee one, like I said the other week up about this, but I just can't pull the trigger and spend 400 quid on the equivalent of this just because of carrying an extra battery and battery charger around. So that's staying with me so far. If anyone does want a laser, and you've seen me use my Bosch one years ago, for years should I say, the GCL 250CG, that's what this one is, fantastic laser. And this is the one that you put the battery in the back. I've always gone for these ones now rather than the AA batteries that just go flat every 5 seconds. But the adaptation I made, so when I went and did a live Bosch event year ago, 2 years ago, they gave me, boxes of multi-tool blades, which are awesome. They're very expensive. I love the Bosch multi-tool blades. But a lot of them don't come because I need the ones that have holes perforated in here to allow it to sit on the Milwaukee one. Some of the Bosch ones do, but the majority of the ones that I own don't. So I've just got one of my attachments that has the holes in, use the bandsaw, cut that off, and then the hexagonal, it's not hexagonal, this shape here fits within the original shape of the other one. And then I've really tightened it together. So I'm going to see if this works. If it does, fantastic. I'm sure there's adapters out there you can buy off eBay, but this has just cost me nothing to do. So we shall see. What I'm trying to do on this bit is pull this back, so that there is in line with that there. So this whole step, once I pull this bit, will flap up, sit into that. That's now its own section, and then we can go back that way, but there's no way I'm pulling all of this out. It's just going to sit in corners and then pull back and forth as where we need. The only reason I took that one up, like I've said millions of times, if there's boards that have been taken up and they're easy to take up, take them up, have a look. Little tip for you guys, turn your phone on, turn it on video, turn the light on. If you've never seen it, saw it, use this. It's such a good way. Not only can you obviously take a video if you want to, but just to see. So that is the main bundle of cables that I can see, obviously that feed from over there, which I'll run you to now in the garage to sort of show you what I'm doing. But I'm happy to leave that as is. I'm then happy to use this board that runs full length across to the back wall that I can bring up to literally the step. If I don't want to interrupt this one, we can go this joist that allow me to shoot this way and to shoot this way. So there's the stairs. This is where we just were. This is the brick wall that you could see with the junction box sat there, I think it was. That is the soil stack in the bathroom. So just keep an eye on that a sec. So there. This all here is all flat roof at the front of the house. This is obviously the off. Don't even ask me about this channel. So that we're going to hit from the garage because we can drill through into here, rod all the way across to do all our lovely stuff here, down, internet point, everything. So that's happy days because we found the steel for the light switch here coming up with his zones. We've got our RSJ there. Then we've got a board. Cables coming across. They shoot off in there. To start with, when I saw the property, I was like, oh, that's weird, that's happy, that's nice and clear over there, I'll go through there. That's the office. That is right next to the soil stack, so that's what we're aiming for. If we can reuse the old hole, great, but the way things are, the fact I've got to leave pretty much everything in until the last day, I'm going to have to do a new hole. But these joists are absolutely massive, and they look like the same ones that run all the way into the house as well. So there's loads of room, drill some nice lasered holes. Beautiful. So massive joists. So we can get a good look under there. I'm going to whiz all of them up now, follow this board. The only reason I cut it is I wanted to, first of all, have a mooch and have a look to see what we're laying here. But at the same point, it's easier for me to take out and put back and store little boards rather than one absolute mahoosive one. That's the only reason I cut it. I managed to cover all basis of where we're going, other than this room. Anyway, So coming from the bathroom, we've got the floor up, we've got the soil stack up and ready to shoot stuff upstairs. Coming around, down into each room, coming across, making sure we're hitting all our sockets, minus this room. Landing is up, ready. We've got absolutely loads and loads and loads of room. So existing cables, shooting across into this bedroom, and then across through here, down, across into the flat roof extension over there, and to our right as well. The only bit we're not hitting today is the other side of this, which is this socket and a socket below, just because of the bed. Like I say, I've already broken it once. I don't want to be doing it again. So now comes the time of drilling holes. We're going to be using the Armeg ones at this end across. Normally we use the Bosch speed cut ones, but I have seen these wood beavers around. So these are designed that they can go through nails that are through the joists and munch through them and continuously stay sharp. So, but how thick these joists are and how deep they are, I'm going to do 2 runs, a 32mm on one of the sides and then a 25mm, because I'm also running a few datas as well. So we're going to hit that with the smaller one and this with the bigger one. So I'll shut up and we'll give it a go. I've done my usual tricks with measuring down the joist to make sure we're getting them not only flat but in line, equal distance apart, running down, just for one, for me and the customer, because it looks great. 2, we've got good spacing and we've been able to get one board up. And all I'm going to do afterwards is write on all the boards where we've run our major runs, a squiggle down, write electricians, cables, whatever, just when the plumbers come, which they are after me. 1, not to cut through my cables. 2, to show them how it's done properly. And 3, well, they should have paid more attention at school. Genuinely, that is simple and easy. And to show you the torque and everything, there's nothing on the other side of that. I will just do this with the one hand, and my hand is upside down as well. So we come to this one, that is all done with the 25mm and the 32. But we're going to need less cables here, so I'm dropping it down to a brand new 20mm and a 25, I think, I'm not sure yet. But I just wanted to show you, now I've gone on to speed 2, just watch how quick this is, because I was only like, taking it before, being like, yeah, this, that and the other, but now. That is me nearly done. The customer's happy for me to leave the floor mostly in and around the way it is, but I know they've got kids, so I'm just popping down as much stuff as I can that I think is going to be problematic, and do some X's for me tomorrow. Just make my life a little bit easier. And I say all staples have been hammered down, all nails have been pulled out, and everything's been collected and hoovered and tidied. So my daughter's got her first football training session tonight, so I'm leaving here a little bit early, but so far so good. We are on day 4. No, we haven't run any cables yet, but tomorrow is the day that we should get a massive amount in, to be honest. I wouldn't surprise me if most of the cables feeds in, stuff down, and then comes the day of coming up here. Like I said off the other video, the loft is a bit of a nightmare because I can only really access the centre bit, because the rest of it is all eaved over with the world's largest joist going across. So I will record tomorrow as usual. Thank you very much for watching. Hope we've all learned something. And hoover under the floor. And if you're saying to me on the camera, oh Nick, what's the point of hoovering under the floor? Why are you doing that? It just makes me stand out more than you. That's what that is. And now I've put it on YouTube. It's the standard. Apologies guys. Right, have a good one. Bye. Right, it's day 5 of the rewire. So the customer's got the day off work today. He's going to help me. He specifically just asked not to be on camera, which is fine. We drilled all the joists in the last video, put all the holes through, picked everything where we needed to go. So the existing cable currently, is that up there? So we're bringing it across a little bit, we're going to the joist next to it. I've marked up, I've measured, so we should be getting it through to punch through, which allow us, as soon as we've done this, I can start pulling feeds. So we're going to be pulling feeds for everything individually. I'll run through it in a second of how I'm going to break the house up into individual circuits. But just for the time being, I've got this monstrosity of a drill bit that'll allow me, because the last job, I'll show you upstairs. So we've got our 2 holes going across, and then because of these pipes that are there, which I presume are going to be removed as when the bathroom's done, but not right yet. Not right yet. So we've got these 2, and then I've angled these ones down, which will allow me to get the right angle down, punch through. So did the measurement, which is these 2 notches, which is our older cables, which are just there coming through, and measured off that across. So I'm going to drill down, hope we don't hit anything, hope it doesn't come through on the flat roof opposite. And once we've got that through, I can do the bigger drill bit back. Right, now for the thick boy. So now they're up and through, so we're with the customer and we've made a list. So from the initial quote that we did, estimate, whatever you want to call it, we knew how many rooms there were, we knew what we were doing for sockets, chases, that sort of stuff. And I did turn around and say, it's all right, the customer's in front of me, double me on camera, so I'm following him. Go away, sorry. I was getting away from the scaffolders. Breaking up room per room of how far away the lounges and the bedrooms, of how many circuits we can pull in for the new kitchen. So we made a bit of a list, we've gone through it all. Kitchen, it's on its own lighting circuit, we're pulling in 3 2.5mm radials and 2 6mm, which we've got here. The utility room, which is off the kitchen, isn't being done yet, that's just 2 2.5s. There's a washer dryer and an airer, so I'm going to stick them on individual ones just in case, because we've got the space in the fuse board. The far lounge, so the furthest flat roof bit and the bit before that's got stud work, that's going to have its on its own 2.5 circuit and its own lighting circuit because of the distance. Upstairs, completely on its own lighting circuit, but the far 2 bedrooms, the master and bedroom 2, on its own 2.5, and the other 2 bedrooms and the 1 hall socket on its own 2.5 as well. Up into the loft, there's a hideous amount of cables. Loft, we've got 4 1mm to go up. This is the floodlights to go out the back, the loft lights, and potential soffit lights in the future. So we're just going to get that cable in now, back to the fuse board. We've got 2.5 going up there for a socket at some point if they wanted to use it. We've got a doorbell feed to go in. We've got up and down lights at the front door as well. We've got 2 floodlights with PIRs, 1 going at the far side of the house, 1 coming out the side here because it's the dressing room. The dressing room and the dressing room hallway is on its own socket circuit. The garage is going to be on its own socket circuit. The office and the hall on its own socket circuit. So we've got a very nice big list here, which allows me then to set the drums up. The customer's going to sort of manage the drums as and when we're being pulled through. But I'm going to get the hardest one done first. We're going to go from here all the way through the landing, all the way through into the flat roof of the lounge. So that will be a 2.5, a 1mm, another 1mm, and also on top of that we're doing this 4 smoke alarms to go in and a heat alarm for the kitchen, and I've added an additional smoke alarm on because I want to start doing them in the garages. Obviously that's where the fuse board is, it makes complete sense to me. Right, we're going for 2 2.5s at the moment. We're going to hit the far lounge, but at the same point we're going through the master bedroom, so we're going to bring that. That is coming across, down onto there, labelled at 1, but they're completely different colour greys, so it would be a reet. I won't get the customer, will you do that for me? Let's go back to you a second, mate. Okay. We've pulled off 2 2.5s, which come up, figured out the length we need to get to the board. Normally I use, for the heat shrink, which is the 11.2mm, but I've gone out and bought myself, this is 17.7, which gives me the heat shrink size for 2.5, and it also goes over 6mm. Done. Right, get back to work. So one thing we are doing here, the hole I just cut in the ceiling, was drilled through and gone through the breeze block as well. But because there's 2 6mm going in and 3 2.5s, one of the 6mm and the 2.5, which we just pulled in here, because there is no kitchen plan as of yet and we don't quite know what's going on, but they're really thinking that they're going to have an island, is one, there very well could be the hob in the centre of the island, and if you're going to have an island, you're going to want a few sockets. So we don't know lengths wise, so we're just going overboard with this. This is going to be pulled to the far side and down the wall, so it's ready. And then the other 2 2.5s and the other 6mm will just be a bit shorter than this. Everything's being labelled up so we know which one's long or which one's not. It just gives us movability for future plans and such, but it's like customers just saying don't want you to waste your cable, but it's a couple more meters here and there rather than doing a joint in the future on a complete rewire. I'd rather waste a couple of meters. Okay mate, Paul, when you're ready please. Because this is such a big room, this is being knocked out. There's loads of room for an island, so this is the 2. We've gone full length and full down, just in case if there's going to be an island, the cable will come down this wall, we'll channel the floor out. So we'll label this up and label the other end. And then the next 3 cables. Right, massive chunk of the cables. It looks a bit sad at the moment because we use one for lighting and the other one for power, but hey, we did a big one. Further one down here for the flat roof for the office, we've got our cables, power, lights, up and down lights, and our doorbell feed. All the way over here. And this is the heat shrink for the 6mm that also fits the 2.5. I mean, it just fits on. So they're all done. And then they're all done as well. And for no reason at all, even though this is the only singular one that's like that, we've done doorbell. Right, we're going on to sort of what is the last main room. And customers in there with a rod and a chain for electrical ones. Just poking it up. So just up here. Just so everyone know, we got it. And I had really cool camera footage up in here while we were pulling it. And I hadn't clicked record, so it's here. Right, it is 20 to 6 on a Friday evening. But that's okay. We've got loads done. I would have recorded more towards the end, but we had to get a wriggle on. I still haven't got all the cables, and we've got all the feeds in for everything. We don't have any lighting cables, switches in most rooms. We've managed to do a few of the sockets in the lounge because they're putting some plasterboard over the weekend. But it's such a big house, but in total in the garage, I'll put some B-roll on now. We've got 3 separate bundles. One going to the back room, which is like the dressing room and the hallway, and the earth bonding. The other one that goes into the offices, there's another 4 cables there. And then coming through the big bundle, I'm pretty sure it was 16 cables. So we've got a 26-way usable board, but some of these cables aren't, maybe never get used because of the kitchen. A couple of them are being doubled up because they're floodlights with the sensors that are all going in, or in and around the fuse board. So it's one of them. I'll record it on a Monday when we're actually running some stuff in, put some oval in. Tuesday we should be bonding, and then Wednesday we should be second fixing, and we should be looking to start prepping the other board. And we've got an idea what I want to do with the fuse board. I just spoke to the customer, he's getting some stuff over the weekend, so we can do some form of a masterpiece with the fuse board, and it looked very cool and very nice. So I will see you guys on the next one. Love you, bye. It's day 6 of the rewire, and today we should be getting in most of the cables done and dusted with the feeds. We've done all the feeds from the previous video. You can see up here and behind me a hideous amount of cables. I've got a bit to talk about, a bit to show you. There will be some links to stuff that you can purchase if you want to from the beginning. So a while ago I said about my Mega with some magnets that I was sent. They weren't quite strong enough, so I went on Amazon and I found these. It was these D-rings that I can clip through to the Mega, and then last night arrived magnets. I thought I ordered 2, but it was actually 12. And I was like, oh, are they strong enough? They this, they that. So they come with these ones. I took them off and put them on this. It's so when I'm testing, especially new boards and whatnot, I don't have to put the Mega around my neck. And you can see how strong they are. So they were only a couple of quid for the whole thing. Don't drop. So the second thing, Anthem ALO Electrical and Security, that I worked with a couple of weeks, probably a couple of months ago to do some stuff for an EICR. We couldn't film because the customer just didn't want us to. I asked for his advice with Wi-Fi access points, mesh systems, all that sort of stuff, because that's what he's sort of his bread and butter and I don't have a clue about. And he recommended these. So these are the Deco, I think they're the X50. It's a pack of 3, yeah, X50 PoE. They are small access points that are sort of the same, similar size to a smoke alarm. That, like you say, you can just plug them in, put them around the house, you can do wall mounted, or you can do PoE, which is what we're doing here. And then he said, get yourself a gigabit PoE switch, which we've got. This was about 40, 50 quid off Amazon. The customers brought this. I think this was about 350 quid for the 3-pack. Tara, hello. Sorry about you having to watch my videos all the time on the TV. And then we've got the Cat 6, got extra drums. We're going to start running stuff in. JCC have sent me through some new X50 lights that we're going to look through in a little bit. They've got lever connectors, they've got all the good stuff, they're dimmable, so we'll show you through that. So if you guys need any advice or want to look more into the access point or security side of things, I'll put Ant's channel, I think we pinned top comment or in the description. Go and check that out, YouTube, Instagram, go and reach him if you want some advice, or just be really nice and go leave a comment on his videos and enjoy them. Hi guys, me again. I've not been here for a while. I've just gone through and drilled all the small 15mm holes for the data. There's only 4 to go in. There's 2 directly up because we're in the bathroom now. Obviously, this is where the main feed is. But we're going to drill a hole sort of at an angle there where we can see through for the soil stack side. We've got our holes either side. No data cable and power cable are travelling through the same hole, and also they're going to be clipped on opposite sides of the joist. As and when they go up the soil stack, they're going to be clipped this side compared to this side with separate holes for separation. But the 2 that are going this way, they're going across here and they're drilled through, which is that hole, which travels all the way up and over. But one thing I have done, which I try to really do, is all these cables are kept on 90-degree bends, so I can staple them all now, get them nice and neat, bring it back to here, staple them all here, then we got all the slack we need. But none of this was stapled until we had enough slack either side. So we're going to stack them, staple them. There'll probably be 2 stacks, top and bottom. But as you can see here, we've kept our 2.5mm and our 6mm together, and these are all our 1mm and our smoke alarm cables, so we can stack them individually. But there is just the one that goes up to the loft here, hence the break off. Right, so I've got a hole in. I fed the two ones that I want going up directly up. Pulled a huge loop because this one is the access point for going the far side. It's come up and over the beam there, away from the power, which is there. One labelled up as 1 is plenty enough for this side. And then the other one, I've got to pull a hell of a lot. You'll see it start moving there. The joys are doing stuff. The customer has offered to help, but his kids are home now, and I'm just conscious of time-wise because we're sitting at nearly 5 o'clock as it is. There's last little bit of data to go in, and then the last bit of their bedroom over their floor can go down. I've done the floor in the lads' room. I can start getting some of the lining back in for tomorrow. Why do they do this? How has it got so tangled? It's like prolapsed on itself. Right, now that absolute pain in the arse is done, the customers, they just bought a new like a petrol leaf collector thing because this place is covered in trees and it's absolutely sick, and I'm very jealous I'm not actually having a go. So as much as it probably comes across this job is taking a while, doesn't it look good though? Like, this is what the customer wanted to pay me for, was happy to wait, and there was sort of time scale that we're working for. It's just really happy, really chuffed, just slightly annoyed that maybe when it comes to cut-off day, I'm going to have to leave 99% of the existing cables in, because by then the floors will already be back down and screwed. We're sitting at 5:53, and I just run in the last data cable. The last one was going down with all the other stuff, and it's a future cable I'm putting in for potential access point within the kitchen as and when that's done. Just go around stapling everything. I went straight through the data cable. Literally straight through it. And as much as I'd like to say, oh, it looks absolutely fine, you know, it could have just missed all the cores and this, that and the other. It's a rewire. It needs to be perfect. Now I need to go and pull all this back out. Ah, sweet. But, hey-oh, look how nice I've got it. Go all the way through. We got it stapled lovely there. It was all coming across. It was lifted up away from the other cables. It's going down, it's going through the wall. It's absolutely pointless now because it's broken. Right, I know people would go, oh, well, you shouldn't use cable staplers. Out of the thousands of cables and millions of staples I've used, whether it be Milwaukee, the Viper one, or the DeWalt, this is the first cable I've ever gone through. And it's just because as I went round, the cable rolled and I just caught the edge, that's it. So that's been cut. I've put the new drum on. I'm just going to pull it all the way back and hopefully... Right, we're in. I didn't staple through it. Coming across. We're all back to where we want to be. There. They're all in. Cables stapled behind. Not sure what I want to do with that yet, but I just wanted to tie them up out the way. And it's hammering it down, and it's currently... Yep. Right, we're sitting at 7:05, which is fine, glad I changed that bit. So the bit that I accidentally went through with the stapler, I managed to go through white and orange all the way through. So it was a good thing I changed it. I managed to just run in the master Ethernet, which is coiled up there. So we got 4 access points, well, 3 access points, 1 access point feed potentially, 1 master going across to here. And as well, I spoke to Will from Navitas, and even though I've got the double stack board, because of the amount of cables we've got, and I'm trying to separate things as much as possible for future expansion, I've got a really cool idea. So I've asked Will if I can actually have a 12-way board to do with outside lighting and timers and switches and smart switches and all that sort of stuff. So that will be coming up. So he said, yep, no problem at all. I'll send you one across. That will be free, just to let you guys know. Customer knows that. I said, no extra charge for you. It's more work for me, but I think it'd be a really cool, interesting video to do. So I'm gonna go home, about 40 minutes home, have some tea, give the kids a kiss, good night, and back here at 7:30, 8 in the morning. Cool, drop a like in the video. Love you, bye. It is day 7 of the rewire. It is currently 14 minutes past 4, and I'm about to start pulling the cables in for upstairs lights. Many reasons for this. The house is huge, there's a lot of stuff to do, there's loads of flat roofs, as you can tell from here. We've got the outside lighting in and the Ring doorbell either side. The only reason I decided to record the rest of this today, because you can see how much of a nightmare and how late I'm going to be here today. Bathroom stuff, hallway stuff, 2-way, office, in, done, round, chased, doorbell, all ready then. So I'll show you what we're playing with, what's going up in the loft, and how difficult it's going to be. Sweet. So the issue we have is the ceiling slopes off. If you can remember the first video, go up to the loft. If you can't, don't worry about it. So I'm chucking the rods up. There's flexi rods. We're going to use the magnets, the tape, all that sort of stuff. There's 2 massive purlins in the loft, as you'll see. But first job, I'm just going to try and rod as many light switches as we can. Pull the loops around because it's a feed to each switch, and then try and go to the bath. Right where I left them. Data cables, upstairs lighting circuit, 3 outside lighting circuits, a loft circuit, a power circuit for the loft. So this is what I mean. I really don't have much room whatsoever because of that purlin, and potential marathon crawl if I want to all the way down there, which I will in a little bit. So you saw where that rod was just. Theoretically, this here's the bathroom. It's just out here on the left-hand side, which is a new switch that's going in for the new doorway. And it doesn't look that far away with the rod poking up, but you have to wait and see this. I messed that up, didn't I? Cool. So I did just have a cheeky peek up here. And where all these pipes go and where all these cables are, my rod is all the way over there in the distance somewhere, which I only saw a minute ago because I decided to put a yellow rod on. But let me see if I can see it through the camera for you guys. Can you see it? I can't see anything. There should be 2 flexi rods with the beads on the end. I need to call them something else. Me and Adam used to call them something else behind the scenes, sorry. All I can hear in my ears, even though there's headphones in, there's nothing playing, is the sound of cobwebs running against my hair. I've already got a big white patch, I don't need any more. But yeah, just, that's the size of the loft. That's good, isn't it? I have seen the beads. You guys are now under the purlin. You guys can see more than me now. Down there somewhere, so a glint of beads, which I'm going to try and get the magnet to. So if I sit you guys there, I have absolutely no idea, because I can't see you, I can sort of see you. I'm really sorry if there's loads of heavy breathing, guys, but just allow it. I'm going to take the microphone off me so you don't, because it annoys me. Oh God, there's an RSJ, and I'm just, please. Wow, that was fun. Right, that one done, up and across for the bathroom. We now have one there, one here, all on the edge, should I say, of that stupid purling. It's one of them ones where you almost wish it was just, I say you almost wish. I have the power to grant this wish with power at the lights rather than the switches, but then The downstairs is the opposite way around. But if that was the most difficult one, sign me up. And then the next one, we've got down the far side, we've got one in here on the lads' room, the two-way on the landing, and then in the master bedroom with the bed that I broke, we've got one here. And then there was meant to be 2 bedside table lights, which there still is, but they're going to be 2 hanging pendants either side of the bed, but we're doing them on Quinetic switches because the lady doesn't want any switches next to the bed. So we've obliged and came up with a solution. I'm not going to say how the conversation went because it was very good, but yeah, me and the husband, we just both did as we were told. So come on, ready? I do feel like some idiots put polystyrene bits everywhere, the person who made the house before, and then I've not shown you, or I might have done on the other video, around the loft hatch they've put polystyrene fish and chip trays just either side of the loft hatch, just obviously to help out, but it is slightly boarded with doors and carpet and everything, so yeah, fish and chip tray, mint, but I can see. Yes. Right, if I'm going to do this, I've got to be smart. I've just been round trying to find a brand new full drum, and I've nearly used, without doing upstairs lights, I've nearly used 300 metres of 1mm so far. So annoyingly, I've got a pretty new drum of Earthshore in the van, but it's not matching in with all the other stuff. But what can you do? So that's what I've got left of my 300 metres used so far, which isn't a great deal. I've got an offcut there, so being smart, I've cut a hole, I've stuck a rod up for the bathroom light feed, sorry about the flashing. So when I'm up there, I can grab that. So what I want to be doing, the switch behind me, which is the one we're going to go to first, which is our first our first light switch on the upstairs lighting circuit. We've got the feed up here, we've got the load, which is the light, which is the cable up into the ceiling, which you can see in the bathroom. But we're also going to take the Dremel cable up into the loft. So as we tie onto the rod, we pull it down, we pull in all 3 cables, and that means I can then find the next rod up there and pull all 3 cables again. So I've gone around all the kids' rooms, marked an X up on the ceiling, and there you can see that. So bring the hoover around, drill a hole, stick a rod up, and try and do a room at a time, which is loop in, loop out, and load. This is where I find out now. There's so much carpet up here. So I brought the cable stapler, but I think the cable stapler might end up being like an afterthought job, where once I've got stuff where I want it and pull stuff and see how much slack I've got, is once stuff's in and cut and how much cable's left, is then go and staple it all afterwards, because first of all, I want it to be beautifully neat with this fabulous piece of oak. I presume it's oak, looks like oak. It's brown. So yeah, but good news is, turning a U around, is we've got our rod there on the left, which is the switch, but then we can see our 2 other rods there, which is the bedroom I'm in now, the bedroom next door to it, which is fabulous, and then all the way down there, you won't be able to see. I've took another rod down, another 2 rods up and down for the light switches down there. So, and right here is just to insulate this bit here, we've got our, oh, there's a blue one here, we've got our polystyrene chip trays, just in case. Surprisingly warm. It's go time. Am I ready? No. Should I wear a mask? Yes. Have I got one? No. And because we have fabulous amounts of cable over here, this is one I made off earlier. If the camera would focus, it would say upstairs line feed. Upstairs lighting feed. With my shaky hands. Here is my wonderful rod for my bathroom light fitting, which is fed, by the sounds of it, through the tiles of the roof. So this is the thing you've got to do when you work by yourself. If you're not going up and down a billion times. There's pre-rod, cut. Obviously this would be very handy if I had 3 drums of cable that I could place down, but we don't. So we've got it taped up, we've got the rod down, we've got some slack. Let's jump down and see if everything pulls the way it should. Yes! So we've got them through where we want. I'm going to make an effort to put all the conduit on now because I'm bonding tomorrow. So I want to get upstairs lights done. But if you haven't seen the other video, what I've decided to do, because these are 20mm mattresses, not 25, sorry, knockouts, and this is 25mm oval, I've been doing slits in it and it's actually worked really well, so it works itself as a grommet. Check around the back, we've got them all in and around. I know it looks a bit, I'd say barbaric, I wouldn't even say that, untraditional, but this then allows you to pull cables through in the future. And what I've been doing is we flare these up, and once it's bonded as well, this conduit will be staying here for the rest of time. Oh hey guys, didn't even know you were still here. What time is it? 5 to 8, already then. This is now done and dusted. I've got to go in a second because the kids are about to go to bed. So the only reason I'm staying this long and doing it, one, they don't mind. Two, I'm meant to be into Ireland on Friday with Velocity and all that sort of stuff. Currently as it stands right now, I will not be going because I am running out of time. Cables are brought up. I've started clipping the data, the smoke. We've got a floodlight with that massive bundle there. It's to go all the way down. That's a floodlight to go on the house on its own circuit. We've got future soffit lights, and also we've got the floodlight for the front. That one up there is 2.5 for the sockets. My stuff is all clipped all the way down, but you can see of the bundle of mess. So most of the wiring in the property, once I do the switchover day, is going to be staying in. But if I do come up into the loft, which I'm pretty sure I will, a massive majority of this, all that mess there, is going to be cut off. And I'll also show you further down where I know what's going on. But yeah, let me jump down and we'll wrap this up. But it's took me a good couple of hours faffing around, rodding backwards and forwards. But thank God the very worst one was the very first one that you guys saw. The rest of them haven't been too bad. So I'm so hungry. It's done. On. Light fitting. Last thing to do tomorrow. I've got one more to do over there, which is literally because I've just got to drill the ceiling out a bit of an angle, smoke alarm cable down, pattress in, 2 access points to drill through, and that's it. So, yeah, I finally conceded. I've been to McDonald's. It's the first rubbish food I've eaten in a very long time, but I can't be bothered to get home and make mincemeat and veg and rice. So it's been a late one. Like I said, the customers don't mind me working late. I'm on a time frame that I really want to get as much stuff done to go to Ireland. I've just been booked in for 6 months and I've overshot the mark with how much stuff that I think I can get done within a day by myself. And it is such a big property, like I say, and it's a lived in one. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow, guys, when I start plastering. Love you, bye. Right, today is a plastering day, hence why I'm wearing a manky shirt. I look homeless because I want to fit in with the plasterers. Also is, I get too hot when I'm doing this. I have bought a t-shirt to wear later on when I'm second fixing. So finally, as of last night, today is day 8 of the rewire. Full days. The past 2 days I've been getting home 8:45-ish. Like I explained, I'm trying to get everything done so I'm able to go to Ireland with Velocity and do the thing that they're doing that was been booked in for a long time, but I'm cutting it very, very thin. What we've got outside, I've put some old lino from the bathroom across the floor. We've got our PVA. I've already mixed that with some water and a paintbrush. So what we're doing with that is we're going around, we're PVAing all the chases in and around the boxes and up full length. But the only thing that I'm bonding right now is just around the boxes, just so that will dry so we can get some fronts on so we can power this up, and then the plaster is going to come in and do the rest. There's only 2 rooms that I'm going to bond the entire chases, which is the 2 kids' rooms. If we have any left to do any other stuff, then maybe, but as of right now, I've just said I'm going to do the kids' ones just to make it nice, clean, tidy. They can't get their fingers in there, that sort of stuff. And hopefully, once that I've come to the end of bonding, the beginning bit would have dried, where it means I can start then second fixing. I've got some more stuff to do in the loft with outside lights. I've got the access points to drill through, the smoke alarm to drill through upstairs, which I didn't get a chance to last night, last video for you guys. Bring all my stuff down, put in the garage, and we've got the hideous amount of cables that you can see that's hanging out the garage ceiling. They all have to be then dressed, pulled, drilled through all the joists to get across to the board for what is essentially switchover day. So, this is what we're going to do. So the reason I am doing this is PVA in, obviously mixed with water. So it's the same thing as if you're trying to paint a brand new plastered wall. The plaster will suck all the moisture out of the paint and it'll end up cracking and not looking very good. So if you do this the plaster, if you do this, the moisture from the plaster won't get sucked into the old plaster, crack and fall off. It gives the new plaster something to bond to. Otherwise, what would happen is this new bit that I would put in would go rock hard, and if you would flick it, it would just come back out as a whole piece. So this allows it to bond. I think it's called keying. I can't remember. I'd said something really cool in the past video about it, but I've not slept. I have slept since then. Just get a bit on the conduit, a bit either side to decolour the dry plaster. Bonding is all done. We're currently sitting at 25 minutes past 2. So we're finished at about 2 o'clock. We just had to clean up. It took a bit longer than expected. One, because the house is massive. And two, I don't know what, it's not hot today, but my mix kept going off really, really quickly. So I kept having to try and do it as quickly as possible to try and add a little bit more water, keep it going for a little bit, and ended up giving up twice. So I ended up doing it 4 times, 4 different mixes for the whole house. So this is what our finished product looked like. This is it on most of it. Like I said, in the kids' rooms, I've done a full chase. I always like to do it at the top as well. So if there's any bits of debris, dust or anything like that, once the doors are slammed, which does happen, that loads of dust and stuff doesn't fall out the ceilings, hence why I do it at the top and at the bottom for this. For the customer's request, we have gone for the BG Evolve range. This is the matte black edition, and they are fabulous. So I actually have some of these in my own house. These, especially on a Rewire where you can get a nice flat wall. This is matte black, plastic front. This is actually a class 2 as well. So if you ever come to a house and there's no earth on the lighting, this is completely allowed because it's classed as a class 2 fitting. The front just pops off like so. This is what you're left with. And because the whole property is yet to be plastered properly and decorated, the good thing about this is I'm going to go around and fit all of these, leave these spare, keep them all in a box. I'm tempted to put them in a bag for each room, but they probably will go walkies, so we'll keep all these safe. Fit these, it comes with a little bag of terminal pins, get that sorted. Sockets are the same, which you're sat on. Oh, look at that. It's got a good click on it as well. So that's the front. And they do loads of variations of this. I've got the USB one and the USB-C one at home, which is, I think it's a 30 watt output, so it's mega quick charging. But obviously you can just keep it like this for the time being until you're ready. And if you could find somewhere that sells the different fronts, because we fitted these before, if you remember the brass ones we fitted ages ago, you can just literally interchange them, switch them over. So let's get a few of these on. Let's get this downstairs room done, see how it looks, and yeah. So now we're on now. One thing I do like about this is you've got the lugs are slipped, so you can maneuver these quite well if they're not level. It does say on the tech specs for these that it needs to be a 35mm box behind. I've just looked. This is a 25mm one, and it does fit in, and the whole wall is being skimmed. Obviously, the finished product once it's on sorry, I've got plaster all over my hands, is there, but it's very nice. Very nice. Stop touching it with your dirty fingers. But yeah, right, a couple more sockets and I'll jump you guys to the light switch. A quick interjection to tell you about today's sponsor, which is Tradify. You guys know I love it and have used it for the past couple of years. It's my job management software that I use for my phone, my iPad quite a lot, on my PC at home. Helps me schedule and organize work, estimates, quotations, invoices, all that jazz. And when I've got a job like today, which is in the future for you guys, Jack's working with me. Jack will be sending me an invoice through Tradify, which I can then pay. Click paid, notifies him. Currently, we have a discount, which is Bundy, for 30% off for the first 3 months, or if not, try the 14-day free trial. So go and check it out in the description below. So second fixing is going strong upstairs. They're all on, they're all on. I've realized that I forgot to order, this was last night driving home, the intermediate switch, which is over there. So that's gonna get stripped. None of it's becoming live today, so I've just accidentally clicked this to Hoover to turn on. New pendants are up, new lamps are in, switches, socket. So it's all going super duper well. One thing I can't change over yet is the bathroom, because we're still off the existing one here. That light fitting is currently being used back onto this as and when the bathroom gets refitted. So that'll get switched over the day the board is switched off. But I wanted to show you one thing. So obviously the other week I put the oval conduit in, you saw me fray the end and split it out. And it was a trial run for me that I'd not done before, because normally we would fit 25mm back boxes. The 25mm oval conduit will slide straight in. This is 25mm oval with 20mm conduit, hence why I put slices in it to feed it through and no grommet. And as I'm going round, it genuinely has been working extremely well. It is a little bit faffy getting it up, but once it's in, it's just a great time. But genuinely it's great. So I've trimmed off the edges. If I look down at it here, you can see, bear with me. So what I've been doing is knife around the edge. Obviously I plastered this quite well anyway. And normally we would sit them flush and flat and take it back a bit to allow the plasterer to turn around and do what he needs to do. But every single wall is being skimmed, every single wall. So I was allowed to go and do this. This is the kids' room, this is what I'm saying. I did full chases to make sure, as and when we power up, that the kids can't come pick, flick, poke something in it that they shouldn't do. The same with that one over there, because there's only 2 outlets in each room, a light switch. But got the Hoover on. What I've been doing is just slightly trimming the edges. I mean, this one's pretty good. I know the other one earlier was a bit rough. And when I say it was a bit rough, the bit started going off the plaster, so I was a bit like chucking it in there a bit, knowing I could clean it up. But realistically, that's that. The one up here is, well, pretty good as well. But then if you look at this one, this is what I mean, the bonded really, I mean, there was a massive chunk of plaster that came out. It's when, as and when they stripped the wallpaper. So customers go around and stripped as much wallpaper as they could around the outlets, because that's what I requested. If they wanted to give me a hand, they could do that. This wall's fine. A lot of them aren't papered, unlike the ceilings. But yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd jump by. That is a handy little trick, and I will be doing it again. If you fit in 20mm mattresses and you've got 25mm oval, it does work. Right, second fixing upstairs is done, obviously, other than smoke alarms and whatnot. And one thing I do like about the Evolve range is, because they can do all this with the decorating, that's the one that I haven't got hold of yet, is you can just keep a nice little box of all the outlet, all the fascias away and hidden. And even if they do, you know, were to get paint on the switches and whatnot, it's literally just wipe down the, I'm trying to get one of these out, wipe down the switch and the bits, and you're good to go. So yeah, I'm liking them. I say I've got them on my own now, so enough for me to like them that much. Yeah, so today's day 8, it's day 9 tomorrow. We should completely finish second fixing, try and get the access points doing. I'll run you down to the garage. I bought something finally. I've got some more heat shrink I got off Amazon, both sizes, because I used obviously a hell of a lot. And I finally bought some boots for the cat cables. I didn't quite know what I was buying off Amazon. I accidentally bought 3 of them. I don't know how I've managed that. Different colours and whatnot, so I can actually get them on the data cables. But my plan is with the fuse board, it's gonna be epic. It really is. With a switch up top, which is the gigabit switch, which I've shown, which is over there, which is gonna have a termination of data points above. So instead of me terminating everything directly into the switch straight away, I'm going to do a data outlet, RJ45 outlet. So there's 4 access point feeds and 1 main. So I've got a 4 gang and then a 1 gang, which I can label at feed. And then we can do, God, that is bright, link cables throughout, obviously labeled up as well for which one's which, and make it all dandy, and obviously drill all my holes and everything that I need to do in and around here and make that all beautiful. And at some point, maybe just come back for a day after I've completed the house just to rip the old stuff out, because there's a hell of a lot. Anyway, there we go. Good morning. It is day 9 of the house rewire, and I feel like this is the first day where I've made a substantial amount of progress the past couple of days, to a point where upstairs is second fixed, everything's bonded, every single cable is running. I've got downstairs a second fix today, but first of all, today we're going to go up in the loft. Going to do 2 access points drop down, the smoke alarm, we've got a loft light to go in, a loft socket to go in, and then 2 outside lights that are being punched out front and back. So we're going to do that on video. So to start with, I am prepping some stuff. With the smoke alarms, I've been going around and putting fast fix boxes in the ceilings. I've done this on a few jobs and a few I haven't. I much prefer, as when we got the chance to do it, but it's the same thing with the access points. So these are the deco ones that I've been recommended to do, which come with the base plates. So these work off 240, so you can just plug it in, or you can do PoE. But at the same point, I've been looking at this, you can do a fast fix box on it. The holes do line up within it, if I've lined it up correctly on camera, but it allows me to feed it through. So then, sorry, it's cold this morning, put a stuffing gland in it to grip the cable. I'm not going to be cutting any of the Ethernet cable that's up if there's any slack, which I know there is quite a few meters on the outside like that. Bring that through, get that on, do that, and then the outside lights will be fun. So what I'm trying to do right now is to save all the grief and hassle of doing it all in the loft, prepping everything. So I'm cutting the back of the boxes out. Same thing with the light switch. Need to get a socket, take the smoke alarm up. I'm going to take it out of the box and chuck everything I can into the skip. We've got a tote ready to take up. We've got our data stuff to take up to terminate. We're going to take some boots up to terminate. We've got the light to go up. So I'm going to get everything ready, chuck it in that, and I'll see you in the loft. This video is sponsored by Traderify. I'm on another rewire that I've managed to get by using Traderify, from using the quotation device, the customer accepting it, notifying me, then turn it across to schedule or book it in as a job. I also require a 50% deposit, which is very simple and easy to do. With 2 clicks from the invoice, click 50%, send that across. Once you get notified that the money's in the account, we can then turn around and schedule it in using the Traderify app on my phone, iPad, iMac, computer, whatever you've got. Down below there's a discount, which is code Bundy for 30% off for the first 3 months, or there's a 14-day free trial. So if you think Traderify can help you run your business a bit smoother and a bit easier, hit the link in the description down below. Loft work is all done, and I tell you what, it's probably one of them things, once you've used the boot, and the only reason I picked a red one is because I actually just thought you lot would annoy you lot. You ain't gonna see it. But obviously we've got the fast fix in, we've got the plates up, the smoke alarm is in, plates up. I'm just not gonna attach any of that yet because obviously we don't want it going off. The far one is done. More and more clipping has been done up in the loft. So my next sort of job is outside lights. So this is where the flat roof finally actually helped. So this oil stack where we brought everything up, I've pulled back my floodlight cable, as you can see there, front flood. So the plan is, with the flat roof, is the floodlight's going to go up here. The customer wants it on the wall because all the soffits are currently, it's what all that noise is at the moment. The guy's changing all the soffits out there at the moment. Measure off the glass as a fixed point. Obviously, if you want to drill it through, you can see in there of where we want it to come through, and we can poke this cable. There'll be a small whisker box on the outside. Fix the light, and it's exactly the same thing out the back as well. And if the flat roof runs out, which it does on the side, scaffolding's all been put up down the side as well for the soffits, so it makes my life a bit easier. And then that is the last thing I have to do physically in the loft, other than test it and maybe rip some cables out as and when it's dead, that I've got to do up the loft. I've took all my tools down, I've hoovered up, I've tidied, all my chasers are solid. So winner, let's go get some lunch. Oh, well, I say lunch, I mean a salmon bagel with a boiled egg. Plan is go through with the tiny one, double check, we're all happy, trip through the bigger one, that's just enough for a 1 mil, and then we can redress this, get that out, get the whisker box on, get the light on, and then the challenging one is the back, because I've got the slope this side, but the other side, where the customer is out there, I can't. I've just got to drill at the most horrific angle up, because they don't want it in the soffits, the cables or anything, obviously because it's being overboarded and they want it to look all nice. So I'm gonna have to drill up same height as I'm doing the back one, the front one, at the back up, somehow across into the roof there. And then I've already clipped, this is the outside light and feed, the sole feed that I brought in that goes to there. Obviously I've clipped it too far now because I've now realised it's going to here. We can lap it over, tuck it out, but each individual light, outside light, all of them are all off their own circuit, straight to a separate fuse board. And the 2 up and down lights by the front door, they're linked together at the same circuit. That's on its own circuit going back to this lighting board as well, which obviously we'll get to, which turned up last night actually. So, right, wish me luck. I'm only joking, I need the camera. When I say I would say I was lucky, it's gone up straight away. Perfect. And that is that one done. Fabulous. This is the scaffolding, and I've just realised as well, just so I could see, I took some roof tiles off to see if there's any access so I could pick the felt up like I did on the previous job. The answer was no. So now I've got to go put them back. Mint. So as of right now on day 9, that's right, been long days, long days. I've got 2 days left, realistically. So Outside lights, I've got 3 left to do. I've got 2 floodlights either side, which are small PIR ones, which are there. And then we've got the up and down lights by the front door, which is going to be fun because of the stone. We're going to have to grind some stuff out. Once all that's done tomorrow, I've got 1 more room to second fix, 2 access points to put up, and then that's done and dusted. But I have to do all the cuts, all the holes, to bring all of these cables up and over to there, prepping everything for Monday to be cut-off day, new fuse board day, new power-up day, mess around in the next video, which will be tomorrow, disconnect the electrics in the sockets in the wall in the kitchen that's being knocked out, but equally finding out what circuit does what. So as and when we do the exchange, the old kitchen sockets are currently going to be staying on and the lights in there. So whether or not we figure that out tomorrow and disconnect the lights that go anywhere else. So yeah, anyway, it's been a fun one. And also as well, as of tomorrow, I can take the majority of all this stuff home because it's not needed anymore. And there's a lovely skip that we've been filling up. So, right, catch you guys tomorrow. Love you, bye. It is day 9, near the end of day 9. It's just shy of 3 o'clock and I've been busy. I've got 1 more day left, 1 more day, which will be next week, unfortunately. But I've had to get everything done to the best of my ability for the plasterers and the plumbers all to come in. But I shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. So what I've been doing, busy. So today we've completely and utterly finished off second fixing. I've gone round and put the up and down lights out the front and ground the brickwork around to sit them flush. The brickwork is going to be coming off at some point. It's all going to get rendered, but for now it looks good. We've done the same thing with the doorbell, got that flush, got that wired in. 2 20-watt PIR floodlights. These are the JCC ones that I showed you earlier on in the week. They are up and on. And also I fitted the 2 standalone PIRs on the back to do the top floodlight and on the front to do the front floodlight. But now what is left to do is the garage. So I've got cable behind you, cable here, cable here, cable here, cable here, and a big bunch of cable there. Obviously existing power is still on in here. The new fuse board is going over there in lower. We had Octopus Energy turn up today to fit a smart meter. If you're watching this, mate, hello, you did a great job. So what I'm going to be doing, putting all my stuff away, which is all here, all the stuff I don't need anymore. There's only a bit of cable left that I need to run 10mm to the gas here. We need some 2.5 left out. We need some 1mm left out for the sockets and the lighting within here. Some 3-core for the 2-way switching. 20mm white conduit here. And then get all this done, get stuff ready, and I can run through it a little bit what the plan is with the fuse board. So we need to make all of this look delicious. One little thing before I chuck everything in the van that I don't need is the access points we picked up. I got the customers, we made some link leads last night. So this is the gigabit PoE switch. These are all the access points. I got the customer just to make my life easier. He's just set it up really quickly on his phone, and he did say it was very quick and easy. But to set it up now with PoE, because we were going to set it up by doing it on the plug top and then just doing the PoE plug-in afterwards, but I'm pretty sure it's a different setup that's got going on. So this is all set up now, so as and when I do this, I can plug these in straight onto the ceiling, which I will be doing today because I'm still waiting for the matte black data point. So this is the master here that I'll plug into the router, which will then plug into that switch that's going to be in the garage, which will then feed these. But it means as of today, because I've put an end on here, I'll plug that straight into the router tonight before we go and put that and some ends in the garage, get these clipped up and on, and the customer can give the internet a go tonight. The laser's set up at 130. We've got 4 sockets, 4 double sockets, 1 fuse spur for the boiler, and 2 two-way lighting circuits. So switch there, switch by the door, socket here, here. There's one on the fuse board, and then there's a socket and a fuse spur because the new boiler is going exactly where that cupboard used to be. So lasers out. We've got malleable boxes, which have got the 20mm knockout. We've got this. We've got loads of couplers, I think they're called, metal stuff. But because of all the stuff that is still on and existing, so all the stuff in here is on, these armors are on, the stuff in the trunking is on, all the timers for the outside lighting, and everything is still currently on. To do as much as I can do now would be screw the boxes on, level up, drill, put some saddles on the wall, get the conduit cut, just leave it there. If we get a chance to run some cables up and over, brilliant. If not, the holes I'm about to drill shortly, we can whiz around on Monday once that board is cut off and isolated and chucked in that massive skip. All of this absolute dread can be ripped off and stuff can be run up properly. One thing I'm just concerned about before I put the socket in the ISO next to each other is I'm going to do 2 runs coming down, so fuse spur, double socket, but that joist is annoying me, so I'm going to level down, get the centre of that to make sure my 2 up and outs either side of the socket aren't getting knocked. First things first, I'm going to do the data. We've got the boxes on the wall, but because there's so much stuff that I need to take off the wall to drill up for the conduit, I just thought I might as well do it after the fact, once it's done. So we've got the stuff in place and I know where to run it to, it's just that. So we've got 5 data cables, we've got 4, technically 3 access points, 1 access point feed for when the kitchen's done, and we've got 1 master. So these are our 4 points, they're all labelled at the end. This is our master, and at the same time I'm going to bring through the Ring doorbell cable with it at the same time. These are going to be done on now separate holes. I'm going to use a 25mm bit, the Armeg beaver bit. I'm going to laser now to make sure it's perfectly in line. We're also then going to measure up on the joist to make sure it's the same height to get a nice flow through. And then as when we get to the far side, I did use the cable stapler under the floor upstairs, and in the loft. Instead of applying pressure, it was just like enough for me to engage the trigger to actually fire it. But I do feel like it squished the cables more than necessary. So I have got some Velcro cable ties that I bought a long time ago off Amazon that I'm yet to use. So what I might do is everything that way is fine, be supported by the beams. But when it gets to the far beam, my plan is with this, as these are going to be run now directly to the far side and down, and then I'm going to put 4 ends on them because time is a ticking, and it's Friday, and I'm going to have a takeaway with the family.
It's midnight.
It's not midnight. What? I guarantee it's not midnight. It's 10 to 4. Get the datas done, and then we could sort of eye up or even mark out now where the rest of the cables are going to run before I do it, depending time-wise. So that's the plan. What I've done up there is just took because it's darker in here because I've turned the light off. It's 500 out, but I've just stuck a screwdriver into the joist as well. So when I laser from this side, trying to see a black marker pen on a dark joist isn't going to work. I could just line it up with a screwdriver. Right, so we've got them through. We've picked up the doorbell and also the master feed. Come on. Yeah. That's the only problem with data. Oh, I've lost a cable. This is the problem with data. When it twists, Right, what I've done, the D-line clips that I've got in the van, all the same height. I use the nailer because I've run out of screws. I've only got a handful left coming across. So that's going to go on. That's obviously our old cables that will get removed as of Monday. Come across, clip them in there. If they're not tightly bunched the way I want them to be, we've got these fabric cable ties, which I'll show you now. I was going to do a screw through them, and then they fold around themselves, Velcro one side and the other Velcro the other. But the way I wanted to do it with the tab, it wouldn't work. It was like the wrong side of Velcro. I know what I mean. Anyway, let's get these through, get them pushed, and See what time we're on. I really, really, really want to get all these other holes drilled, but time is not on my side as usual. It's the way you can yank 2.5 and you know it'd be fine. But with the data stuff, just one little kink and it's ruined. And you saw from the video a couple back, one, you know, little tiny cable stapler straight through it, ruined. Very annoying. Nearly. The shake actually, yes. No, I was going to feed this with this hand. Right, you're going to have to buy. So as far as I've done the 2 holes. There's 2 32mm holes that go, and if I line this up, let me see how good this is. Hopefully you guys can see because I'm at full stretch. So that's done. Because there was only 3, camera's being funny. Because there was only 3 cables here, so I've decided to cable staple them, but I've got to a point where I'm like, enough's enough. We've run across and done the ends on what we want for the data. So we've got up access point for the feed and the lounge. We've got the switch, so we're going to plug this in now. Kai's here, customer son. Kai, do you want to just come plug this in for us, dude? And we'll get that in. And last thing I could do is just plug them onto the ceiling. Just this in for us, please, mate. Cheers, dude. Right, I say this is just temporary, but Kai, can you come and just hold this for us, dude? Just film me with that, mate. Okay. Thank you very much. So, feed, we'll put it in as 1. Lounge. Let's go clicking it, mate. And then that should be feeding PoE up now to our cables. So let's go and plug a few of them in. Let's just rest this here nicely out of the way. Come with me. Cheers, dude. So these are our temporary link leads. And customers labelled them as well. Landing bath. Here, dude, you hold that one, that's for upstairs. Landing main, that's outside your mum and dad's room. And this should be the lounge. That's in. We've got lights. Oh, wow. Now I just need to figure out how this goes on the scene. You know when you wish you brought a step in, mate? That's what we should do. We should unplug it, take the cable out, and then plug it back in afterwards and push the excess back up. It makes so much more sense. We have a light. So as you can see here, all the other ones are facing a wall, but this one I put the framework the other way so you could see it as you walk up the stairs. So other than turn the base round, is that right, everybody? Is that how you do this? First time newbie here, but they're working. We've got Wi-Fi, and yeah, thanks, Kai. It's day 11 of the Rewire, and fingers crossed this is the last day. There could be a few tiny little jobs that need sorting afterwards. Ripping some cables out, going up in the loft, maybe some other things that I've forgotten about. But this is where we're at as of Monday, day 11 of a Rewire. It is raining once again, so stuff is brought in and out. Last video, Friday, day 10, the datas have been brought down. We've got the switch, everything done temporary, just so we've got the access points up and working. We've got them up, across, completely separated from any why is that one dipped? Anyway, then we had a little bit of time. So the cables that came through from the office have come up, been clipped with the Milwaukee cable stapler. Nearly hit my camera then. Up, across, and down. And now we're on to the big boy bunch, the smoke alarm, and the other bunch up there. There's still 2 cables that need to be running. Those 2 cables are the bonding from the board to the gas meter, which is there, and there's 2 2.5mm radials that we're going to run from the board that are just going to sit and coil up there, which is the future utility sockets, which are just either going to be chucked through the wall, chased down, or just ran surface down the wall and punched through to 2 sockets, one for a washer and one for a dryer. The fact that we got the chance to do each on chance that we've got the chance to run 2 circuits, so we will. We're going to get this all out, separated, chucked across. So because there is so many cables, and I'd love to go and clip it as neatly as I have done with those ones, But because there is that many, and I don't want to run out of time, I'm going to use something a bit different. In the van, I had some D-line clips, which are sort of for trunking. I'm very tempted to use these, clamp them down, and then if I've got to put some form of fixing around it as well, I will. But we're just going to see how that goes, fits, sees, plays for the amount of cables. Obviously then we've got our fire rating for the clips, and then once that's all in, we're going to find out what circuit the kitchen sockets are on and the downstairs lights, because they need to stay on currently, because the kitchen and the kitchen, the dining room and the dining room-ish thing is still staying on until the kitchen gets ripped out, because we've already got our new circuits pushed up into the ceiling. I need to find which ones they are to bring out, to isolate, to then re-energize with the new board for the time being. We're going a bit further. We've changed ideas with the clips, which are these ones instead. So beforehand I was thinking about using these ones, but what I do have is these ones with us. So you bend it round on itself, and then the little tab. They're very, very similar to the very old school cable clips. So it allows me to pinch them up there. I've drilled some more holes in and around, but as I started closing them up, I just thought, oh Christ, because I've got to run, like say, a socket circuit and there's three 2.5 cables to go in. So I'm going to go and pull them in now, which are here, and then the lighting has started to go in and around. I've just separated a few more holes out so we can get what we want in to come down. So socket circuit within the garage, it's going to come from the socket next to the board up, down to here, across, back up, back through its actual joist, down to that socket, back up, across, and down to the socket behind the barbecue here. And then the two utility sockets are just going to be coiled up and left on the wall there. So I'm just going to get these in and then cry some more. So this is going to seem absolutely mental for the stuff I've got done. Today was meant to be fuse board day. It was meant to be changeover day. It was meant to be everything was prepped. I bought the power bank. I did everything I thought was necessary to get this done. And the time is quarter past 3 in the evening. Don't know what yet. And I still haven't started the fuse board. And I'll show you what I've done and hopefully why it's taking so long. I have not stopped the entire day, the entire job. I've literally stopped to eat a chicken wrap, a salmon bagel, and most of the time I just stick it in my gob as and when I'm working. So what I've been doing, prepping all the stuff, doing all the sockets, the fuse spur for the boiler, clipping all the cables. We've got the conduit in, the cables in, all ready for as and when cut off comes. I can cut all this trunking out and all this horrible wiring to finish this off. That circuit's done. I've gone up and done the socket up there for the garage, and the cable runs. Everything currently is in its place. We've still got, this is all the new stuff that's running across. This is our utility socket supply. The two-way lighting for the garage is up. We've got our stuff all run across, down. Obviously you've still got the old stuff, which you can see is wunging down here. We've got the bonding up and across, the supply that goes across the flat roofs, the water, everything coming up, down, all hanging loose, everything's labelled to what is what. And now I'm at the point where I'm dressing stuff round to get to the board. But there's 3 circuits that are staying on. One, which is the 10mm for the shower, which is bizarrely was put in the trunking as an afterthought that goes up and across. So I was seeing how much space we've got, whether or not I've got to join that through. I won't find that out until tomorrow, but I'm just figuring out a route that I can make and put some clips in place potentially, or just cable staple it. Even though it's a 10mm, the Milwaukee cable stapler does go around that, which is quite nice, because I've just put some one in to support that up there for the time being with a 10mm. But now it comes to the point where I've got to keep, like I said earlier, the kitchen sockets and the kitchen lights on. So I'm going to go down now, find that out, and then isolate some kitchen sockets at the wall that's going to be knocked out. Even though I have said this for about a week, now is the time for it to happen. And then the data. So it's just a magnificent bundle of cables that I've had to bring across to try and do it as neatly and as best as possible. As much as I wanted to individually pull back, cable staple all the circuits across, and a nice uniform thing, I would have been here another day doing it because there's that many cables and they were that intertwined as they were pushed through. Maybe that's a mistake on my part. Maybe next time I should bring them through the wall without any kinks and not coil them all together, do individual bundles and pull them one by one through. But I don't know. It's lesson learned there. I've got one strip light up there and the other one, the cable is just dangling here. I just don't want to isolate that yet. I'm going to chuck the smoke alarm on today and get that ready and prepped. So now is kitchen sockets, figure out what's on what and what I need to disconnect in the morning from the rest of the house so it doesn't, hopefully the kitchen's on it by itself, but from what I did with the fault finding video on this, I don't think that is the case. I think it's complete downstairs and complete upstairs, so we will see. Right, so we figured out the sockets, like I said earlier, the downstairs sockets is all on one, so I've managed to find that disconnect, cut that, which I'll show you in a second, and then the lighting circuit as well, annoyingly, so it comes from here. We wanted to keep this on, but it feeds to the dining room and then shoots all the way down the hall, all the way down to the dining room, and then back to this. And this is really the only one that we want to keep. So the new feeds that I've got in here, which are 3 20mm radials for the kitchen, a lighting feed, a heat alarm, which is looped in, looped out, because I'm not cutting that because that's going to become live, and a data. It just means the lighting feed that I've got here, this one, is pull back up, pull it back, half this floor's already up because where that hole is there, rod across, and then from this light I can permanently supply it because the switch cable's at either side, and then the link cable from the existing to the new can link that, so this one can still work. And then for the sockets in the kitchen, I've now got the socket there, socket there, socket there, and the cooker is being disconnected tomorrow. That's all still on and working. This wall that's coming out, that socket, and the socket there are now disconnected. Customer knocked this hole out ages ago, but I managed to find the ring that shoots across that way that does the entirety of downstairs. As of right now, that's where you go and put a box around this. To be fair, I can just stick it in the ceiling overnight. So this is all dead, this can come out. And then the only thing I've got to do tomorrow would be the lighting cable after the board and just double and triple check everything. But then that circuit could be re-energized back up and label that up on the fuse board. Now we're getting where we want to go. I was going to start ripping some stuff off, but I know what circuits I need to keep for tomorrow. I've drilled a hole over there and I've exposed the 10mm, which is here. This is coming in handy, very nice. So the plan has always been with the customer. We're going to do 2 strips of wood here, and we've got some fire retardant MDF. I think it's like grade class B or grade B or whatever it's called. I gave the customer a link, they've brought that, they've painted it black, and they've painted the CLS down there, which is black as well, just for this to pop. I'll jump to the boards in a second. The plan is, because this is the meter cab, Octopus Energy came over the other day and put a ISO in the meter cupboard here, which means I can get rid of the one that I put on the other day when we're fault finding. We're bringing the board lower, so it's going to be below these rails now because it's completely inaccessible up there and a pain, especially when the garage door is open. You cannot reach it. So everything is going to be put here and here. CLS either side, bridge it out. We're going to be enclosing this in the back of the cupboard. We're going to bring it closer to the floor as possible, depending on what we want. We have got some armor cables here, which feed out to the old wiring for like a shed and this, that, and the other. And there is a black armor cable, which is this one here, which is being removed tomorrow and potentially reinstalled at some point because that does the massive lantern, like Victorian lantern in the front garden, which they really like, and it's a feature that you want to keep. So for potential armors that are going to come out the bottom, we're going to leave plenty of room, label it up all nicely. We've got our 4 data points that are coming out. Annoyingly, I couldn't get hold of one that does 5. Apparently there is one, or there's a 6th one, but I just couldn't get hold of it in time. So we've got a single one for our master. We've got our 4 access point cables, which I'm going to terminate into RJ45 outlets. And then we've got link cables that will go through into the gigabit switch, which is here, very nice, and that'll all be labelled up and heat shrink to what does what with our boots. We've then got a single and a double. The reason I've got this is because one, I thought I would do this for this, but this is only like a 25mm and the mattresses are bought here are like 47 for the RJ45s. So we'll have a single socket that'll do the switch, and then we'll keep the double socket, which we've quoted up for in the garage, which will just go off that socket, that socket, that socket, and obviously we're going to have a double one up there We've got our dual stack board, which is what we quoted for initially on the estimate quote, whatever you want to call it. And then Navitas, Will has sent me this one because I've asked for this for a different reason, which I will explain right now. So, because we've got a hell of a lot of cables, we've got a bunch there, we've got a bunch there, we've got another 2 coming down over there, which is the old stuff. I didn't want to populate this board fully, especially for a new rewire. We wanted to leave some spare ways for battery storage, solar, EV chargers, some future stuff, armor cables out to the electric gate. And because we're losing minimum of 4 ways, 1 for the timer for the up and down lights by the front door, we're losing a double way for the transformer for the Ring doorbell. We're going to be fitting some soffit lights at some points, is why I put an extra feed in, so there will be another one of these in, so that's 6 ways gone within the board. What I thought I'd do, I'll get a 6 amp MCB in here that will then feed this board, and this will just be an outside lighting board. So this is going to do the up and down lights at the front, all 4 floodlights, potentially soffit lights, off timers, that sort of stuff. And then we've got, so for the massive floodlights, we've got 1 at the front, 1 at the back. There's 2 separate PIRs. 1 that's just up there in the pillar, and 1 that's through the back of this hallway here, which is a 3-core cable. I'm going to bring them into here. We're going to be using the Wago DIN rail connectors that I've got spare. There's the newer ones, which are like these, or you've got the older ones, which are these ones. So I can put them in there, do a link through, do what I need to do to bring the PIR's switch live cable across into the floodlights. So it'd be a separate board. So I'm now going to get this measured to what I want, get this cut for the morning, and sort of put the boards out, lay of the land of how I sort of want it to look. Hopefully it's going to look fabulous. They're up, done. So you might have noticed from the thing, I did 25mm spade bit, which just allows me to get the washer and the screw completely flush, getting it in. They are also flush and square this way. Obviously the bricks are horrendously out, but that is. I've got rid of the armoreds that were there, got rid of the second board, which was, oh, before I forget, I'll put that fuse board lid back on because I will forget and I don't want to. Got rid of the other fuse board, 2 little boards that were there. Got rid of the armor cables, which were kept and looped down here. Shower cable is all up and ready. For some reason, we've got this from the other side. So here is a mains water stop tap. There's a hose pipe connected there and a hose pipe connected there. A hose pipe travels through this trunking, goes all the way down into the floor, and that travels into what was a old greenhouse. And that one then over there leads all the way out to the back of the house to an outside tap. Oh, I don't know. So in the morning, this will allow me to get both boards onto that. That's all pre-cut. I can cut the old stuff. The socket circuit for the kitchen, which I'm just going to put in a Wago box above, drop down to the new board, and as well as the shower circuit, which is just going to be run up and over, which is actually new colours anyway, which is fabulous. So as of tomorrow morning, within 10 minutes, that board's being ripped off. Most of the cabling has been pulled out. This board is ready, prepped to be screwed onto the framework. The light is now charging, but as soon as I've got the board on and the cables drop down, I can open the garage door and let some natural lighting, which is nice. I've got to change this light over to here, and then that should be me done. So what's this, day 11 of the rewire. So should be finished completely by day 12, so. Right, let me back. It is D-Day for me. It is day 12 of the house rewire, and we're finally at the stage where I'm about to rip the old fuse board out, put our brand new Navitas one in. We're going to put 2 in, a double stack one and a singular 12-way one that'll take the light in. If you haven't seen all the other videos so far, there is 11 other videos, I think, and they're long. It's the process throughout, the stuff I've come across, why it's took so long. This is not the longest rewire I've done, because myself and Adam did one that was like pretty much version on the end of 3 weeks, but that was 2 of us. This is just me, and I've done everything, and it is wonderful, and I've enjoyed myself. Last night, I prepped. We got an MDF board. It's grade B or type B or whatever is the fire retardant one. The customer's painted it black. The fuse board's currently up here, the old one. I framed off, sunk the screws in. I've just put this one in here for a central support either side. This is our meter cab, the back end of the meter cab. Octopus put an isolator in there the other day. So we're going to come off that. Like I say, I have prepped everything. So what I'm going to do first, rip out the old board, disconnect it. We're keeping one circuit, which is the kitchen socket. We already figured out last night which one that is and isolated the kitchen sockets the other side. So it only keeps half the kitchen on and not the rest of downstairs. There's a shower circuit all the way up there. We're pulling that back out of the board because it's a brand new one fitted a couple of years ago by the looks of it. Pulling that back across, tacking that's coming down to the board as well. We've got the data cables to make off, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to get to it, not waste any time, rip that off. Once we're ready with that, stick this board on fabulously, screw it to where we want it, and then I can start holding both the boards up. We've got the data switch, we've got Ethernet points, we've got a socket. coming across, come on, from this side. So you can see how many blanks we've got. That's for a reason. So same thing as the other board. We've got all the heat shrink. The only cable that doesn't have a heat shrink on it is the red one. And we can all guess what that is. All coming across. We've got a spare one here between the 6 amps and the 20 amps. Here we've got coming across, so we've got some spare 20s. There's a few more spare 20s. I've put 6s in for now, just because I had them. But we've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 2.5 mils that are flapping around. 2 for the utility sockets, which are there, and 3 more for the kitchen sockets or an island socket. I started making the ones off yesterday, the 2 6 mils, 1 for an island feed, 1 for a cooker feed that aren't in use yet. And it was a waste of my time to start stripping everything, so hence why that is all set up like this. Build quality for the Navitas, fantastic, absolutely love it. I like the terminal bars at the top. They are very nice and strong. And obviously you've got the punch out at the back with the slot that slots in rather than doing stupid grommet strips all the time. The Navitas stuff, I do have a code. If you use code Bundy, and I'll put the link down below, you'll get 20% off anything from Navitas on the website listed. So it is day 13 of the rewire. So the last video probably ended very abrupt. I'm not even quite sure where I got to. I hadn't removed from the previous 5 days any of my footage of the rewire here off. I've been taking the clips off sort of every night and I never cleared the card. So I couldn't then record any more stuff as of yesterday when I was getting to it. But what should have been finished, done, dusted, maybe come back for a couple of hours, another week, just to strip out some old cable, didn't happen. I got home last night at 9 o'clock with still a list to do. I have no idea, and I've tried to say this to my other half consistently every night, why it's taking me so long. And then I did look back at the picture I took, and I did do 3 fuse boards yesterday. So amongst a million other things, but I've still got a list of things to do. So last night to power up, it's the only reason I stayed so late, because I had to get the tester out, I had to confirm. I was happy with test results for the stuff that I was turning on. There's obviously several circuits here that are coiled up because I was going to make them all off and make it neat, and I thought I'm wasting my time right now doing silly things that I don't need to do, that is not going to be turned on, because as like this cable here hanging down, it's not connected to anything. There's a few things that I'll run through with the board in a little bit when we get to it, because I want to show off the data stuff that we're going to do, put the switch on. I've got loads of stuff to rip out. There's one circuit down here which is wagoed off, which is the brand new kitchen feed. And if you remember off the previous videos, the kitchen and the dining room, I'll run through. So the kitchen and the dining room are staying on. We're still using the existing lights because we've not ran anything to it. So this wall here is being pushed out, hence why we've got the wagos. This is all done. I pulled it out this morning, guys, so just bear with me. So this room, and this room, there's currently no lights on because we brought the feed through here, which are all these feeds. So we've got the smoke alarm circuit, which is just linked through because it's going to be a heat alarm at some point in here. We've got 2 6 mils, we've got 3 2.5s, and we've got a 1 mil for the lighting circuit. But because the feed that came through for the existing from the fuse board, the old lighting feed downstairs, went through into the office, went through to here, went into there, went far away to the lounge, came back to here, and then this was the last point. I presumed that this point would be the first one, and then potentially bounce to this one and go across. Oh, how wrong I was. So all I'm going to do now, which is what I entail as the biggest job I've got to do today, drop this down, go and pull that feed, take the floorboards back up, run it to here, give this a permanent feed. I know this is linked to the dining room, so if I want to link that through so the dining room light still works, even though they're not really using it at the moment because this wall is literally coming out in about 5 days. Get this all working, get it tested, get it back on. Then I can put all my circuits on. I can just finalize the last few tests of the RCBOs and get the timer working for the outside light, the up and down lights, start ripping out some cable in the garage, and then collect the rest of my stuff that's dotted around the house tool-wise. But I did have a big sort out this morning and a big tidy up in here of all my bits. I've got a little bit more hoovering to do, which is the sawdust here. I want to rip all of this off, and then when I get a chance in a bit, this armor cable, like I said in the last video, is that huge big lantern over there outside. I'm going to try and reach that back to the board, and if I can put the old immersion timer back on for the time being, which is here, we can get that working. But the lights are up, the smokes are up, I just need to put them on. I could do the one in here, it's just I've said don't take the jackets, the hats, the little blue hats off the rest of it upstairs because of the decorating. So, And of course, the one light fitting that no one wants to take down. A quadruple strip light with flathead screws. Mint. Don't roll off. Under the floor. It's just not as simple as we thought. I thought I could just bring it here, but no, there's one cable. It's going to get more floor up. We're getting through the list really well. One of the last things we've got to do physically in the house, this is the BG Evolve range, the RJ45 outlet. So this is the master. So we're going to do a little link lead. I've already got half of it made up here with our little boot on the end. That's going to plug directly into the router, which is down here. So we're going to do this off now and just punch the back out. I'm finally ready to show everyone the masterpiece. Look at this. So I've only loosely put the board covers on, just so I can pull them off to show you guys. So obviously you saw my footage with this earlier. These are pre-made cables that I had. I've put them on the switch. I've hidden the transformer for the plug top behind that. The customer, if there's anything goes wrong with it, he knows from the videos you can just take this pattress out, easy peasy. Let's get this out of the way. So I wanted to do a separate lighting board, which I've done up here. So we've got the timer for the up and down lights, the doorbell transformer, the doorbell feed. I'll explain this in a minute. Obviously everything else is on RCBOs. Pulling this off, and that falling out. So the reason I had that, in here we've got some of the weight, it's a whisker DIN rail attachments. I wanted to do that, the link through. So the reason we got the link through here is because, like I said, previous videos, many videos, we've got two massive floodlights, one at the front, one at the back. We've got two standalone sensors, PIR sensors, with 3 cores. So this is the link between the 3 core of the switch live cable and then the load to the light. Everything is still heat shrinked in the back. This is the original stuff put on ages ago. I just managed to, as I was stripping it, it slid back up onto the cables. Everything is still up and labelled, and this here is just a feed to the soffit lights which the customer is going to have at some point. They're going to set this up. This is obviously the Navitas version, Navitas ring doorbell transformer. I say ring doorbell transformer, a doorbell transformer. So yeah, I've got that all up in and over. We've got a 10mm feed in the board. We've got 6mm here feeding this bit, and this is obviously just off a breaker that's in here. Jumping down, I haven't ran through this yet. Obviously this is the main earthing bonding conductors, whatever you want to call it. Obviously all heat shrinked up. The customer asked me why I did this, because they didn't know if it's a done thing or whatever. I've done this because I think this is an easier way to explain and to see what is connected and what isn't. Obviously, other side through here, we've got the water, we've got the gas, DB2, this one, DB1, this one, and obviously this is the main coming in. I like that that's there and it can be pulled out, tested, do what you need to do. It's not hard to get to any of this stuff, hence why I've just put that filler panel at the top. And the plan was to always to put that there. So if any more cables want to be brought down once the ceiling's in or messed with or pulled up, it's just 2 screws, pull this off, and you can do all the rear entry from behind. Coming across, come on, from this side. So you can see how many blanks we've got. That's for a reason. So same thing as the other board. We've got all the heat shrink. The only cable that doesn't have heat shrink on it is the red one. And we can all guess what that is. All coming across. We've got a spare one here between the 6 amps and the 20 amps. Here we've got coming across, so we've got some spare 20s. There's a few more spare 20s. I've put 6s in for now, just because I had them. But we've got 5 2.5 mils that are flapping around. 2 for the utility sockets which are there, and 3 more for the kitchen sockets or an island socket. I started making the ones off yesterday, the 2 6mm, 1 for an island feed, 1 for a cooker feed that aren't in use yet. And it was a waste of my time to start stripping everything, so hence why that is all set up like this. Build quality for the Navitas, fantastic, absolutely love it. I like the terminal bars at the top. They are very nice and strong, and obviously you've got the punch out at the back with the slot that slots in rather than doing stupid grommet strips all the time. So overall build quality, absolutely fantastic. Like I said on the previous video, or it was a pop-up, the Navitas stuff, I do have a code. So if you use the code Bundy on Navitas website, which will be linked down below, you will get 20% off. Go and check that out. Get yourself fitted up one of these. We can get some nice pictures done. Depending on time now this is all done, I'm gonna have a mess around with the armoured behind and see how we get on with that, because I just love being here so much. I've been here for so long, I might as well put me on the wheel if the customer